What's up guys, it's the T-Ball and I am back with another video. Before I start, if you guys would hit that like button and subscribe for more NBA, Brooklyn Nets, and Jeremy Lin videos, your support is greatly appreciated as we are trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. So if not subbed, be sure to hit that sub button as your support is greatly appreciated. So tonight we're going to be going over Jeremy Lin and the Brooklyn Nets lost to the Boston Celtics. They lost by a score of 114 to 105. So some key box score stats: Jeremy Lin with 26 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 block. He had only 1 turnover with 4 personal fouls. He had a plus minus of -10. He played 34 minutes tonight and shot 4 of 9 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3-point range, and 16 of 17 from the free throw line. So we're definitely going to go over that later. Brook Lopez with 25 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block. And he got the all-time Nets points record in the history of the franchise, so more on him later as well. Hollis-Jefferson with 17 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, and 2 blocks. He shot 4 of 15 from the field. So for a quick recap, the Nets were ice cold in the first quarter. They couldn't get any of their shots to go. You know, the Celtics have a very good and tough defense. They love double teaming. They have nice length. They're very athletic, so it's hard to get shots over them. And the Nets were down 28 to 13 after only 1 quarter, so already a pretty big deficit after the first 12 minutes. So it's pretty hard to climb out of that, but the Nets are a very gritty team. So as we saw in the second quarter, they picked up their offense, but their defense was still lacking, and they were down by 18 at the end of the first half. In the third quarter, the Nets were just careless with the ball. They were missing some open shots, and at one point they were down by 26. But somehow, some way, they just started to creep to cut the lead. You know, little by little, they were getting fouls, and once they were in the bonus, a lot of the guys, including, well, especially led by Jeremy Lin, they started going to the free throw line. They hit their free throws, and they eventually cut it to only 13 points at the end of the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, the Nets continued their run. They got it down to 7 points, a 7-point deficit at one point. They had multiple chances, especially on one play. Lin was on the break. He gave it to Hollis-Jefferson for an open layup, and he just blew it, which could have cut the lead to only 5. But the Nets had multiple times to cut the lead to a 2-possession game, but they just couldn't do it, as I guess they just ran out of gas, as the Celtics were able to hold on and take the 9-point win. So Jeremy Lin, he played a masterful game today. He finally is getting calls, I guess, from that new Jeremy Lin video. It's like a part 2 of the 2 flagrant to call. So it's good to see that getting a little or good amount of views, and people getting the word out there that Jeremy Lin is getting unfair calls on him, and he's not getting calls back in his favor. So he got 17 free throw attempts, which is a career high. He also hit a career high of 16 free throws. So he shot, over 90% from the free throw line. So that's definitely going to help his percentages. A lot of that had to do with the Celtics fouling the Nets in general on silly fouls, and the Nets being in the bonus with the Nets. In the third quarter, the Nets were in the bonus with like 6-7 minutes remaining, so they were getting free throws every time the Celtics fouled them. So great opportunity for the Nets to get some quick points on the board, and obviously Jeremy Lin took advantage of that. Lin also had a career high and team high 12 rebounds, so Lin has definitely picked up the slack from Brook Lopez, and just the Nets are in general a very weak defensive rebounding and offensive rebounding team in general. Hollis-Jefferson did have 11 rebounds too, so Lin and Hollis-Jefferson were both in double figures in rebounding, which is nice to see, especially from your point guard leading you in rebounds. That's usually not a good sign unless it's like Westbrook, who's averaging a triple-double. But for Lopez, I know he's sometimes called a soft center, and sometimes it's kind of true, as he just doesn't really get a lot of rebounds. He's not very aggressive trying to get the rebounds, as on the season he's averaging about 5 per game, and Lin over his last 5 games has averaged 6.8 rebounds per game. So it's nice to see Lin picking up the slack on the rebounding department, and he's been really doing it all for the Nets over the past 5 to 10 games. Yeah, so Lin also had 4 assists to only 1 turnover, so a 4-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. He should have had more assists, but in the first quarter especially, Lin was he's trying to get everybody involved before him, and Lopez was just missing some open shots that he would usually hit. He was missing that easy push shot. Hollis-Jefferson missing his usual open jumpers and lay-ins. But yeah, but Lopez, he started off 0 of 5 and he finished 10 of 21. So if you do the math right there, Lopez shot 10 of 16 from the field for the rest of the game after starting 0 of 5. So good to see Lopez get some rhythm there. Lin also had 26 points on only 9 shots, which is a crazy points to shot ratio. That's over 2-to-1 ratio. So, amazing efficiency for Lin. He also played some great defense. He held Thomas to only 27 points on 10 of 21 shooting, which, by the way, is below Thomas's season average. Thomas does average over 29 points per game. So, good to see Lin play some good defense in general. Thomas is a very good scorer, so obviously he's going to get his points basically no matter who's guarding him. But Lin did make him work for it, and he also played some great team defense. So yeah, I also want to point out Jeremy Lin was hurting a little bit in the third and fourth quarter. He was grabbing his hip, especially in the third quarter, and with about 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, Thomas drove to the rim, and it looked like he elbowed Lin near his hip groin area, somewhere around there, and Lin was subbed out. He still stayed in the game, like he didn't play, but he was on the bench, and he was eventually standing. It looked like he was basically okay. Hopefully he can finish the season and play on Wednesday's game against the Bulls. But what Thomas did, it just looked like, I don't think it was intentional. I hope it's not intentional, but maybe from how it looked like Thomas was trying to push Lin out of his way so he can get an open lane, which technically should have been an offensive foul on Thomas in my opinion. But Thomas did say some bad stuff about Lin. If you want me to bring it up real quick, Thomas said that Lin, back in when Lin was in Charlotte, that Thomas had less votes than Lin. So Thomas was basically saying, oh, Jeremy Lin, who averages 12 points, Lin was averaging 12 points at that point of the season with Charlotte. He's averaging 12 points off the bench, and I'm averaging like 20 something. So Lin's getting all these votes, and this whole system is rigged. Blah blah blah. Listen, Thomas was playing well, and he did deserve to be an All-Star last year, at least on offense. But to say that in public about another player who A, has never done anything to you, B, is a humble and classy guy, to say that just in public makes you look like a very ignorant and just what's the word, like a kind of like a sore loser, to be honest. But that's a whole other story. It just was not a good look on Thomas to be complaining about another player who Thomas considers himself an underdog story, as he was picked 60th overall and he's only 5'9". But Lin is even more of an underdog story, in my opinion. He went undrafted. He was obviously being an Asian American, guy. He was, probably, I think he was discriminated against in recruiting, playing basketball in general, as Lin didn't even get I want to say he didn't even get like a D1, a guaranteed spot on a D1 team, or like a scholarship or something, anything like that. I know he chose Harvard because he was guaranteed a spot. It was something along the lines of that. But for Thomas to just like bash another player like that last year, not a good look. And I personally do not like Isaiah Thomas at all. He just annoys me. He's all offense, no defense. He just seems like an arrogant guy. And his demeanor on the court just annoys me for some reason. So, you guys are free to disagree with me, but that's just my opinion on him. So, sorry for getting off topic there, but just wanted to get that off my chest. And hopefully Lin's all right, and hopefully it wasn't intentional by Isaiah Thomas. Let me just see real quick. having trouble reading my own notes. But, oh yeah, so Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, he was inefficient again today. But he did play some good defense, but still shooting 450 from the field is always going to hurt your team. Hollis-Jefferson did have 4 steals and 2 blocks, so good defense by Hollis-Jefferson, and he's very active in the passing lanes, contesting shots, and he definitely helps spark the run, but he needs to be able to finish those open layups, those open jumpers, and just be smarter with his shot selection. He should not be taking contested 2s, and he should definitely not be taking any 3s until he works on a shot over the summer. So back to Lopez. Congratulations to Brook Lopez, who passed Buck Williams for the Nets' all-time franchise record in points scored. Lopez scored 25 today, so Lopez had a solid game besides that first quarter, and it's great to see Lopez, who spent 9 years with the Nets, and he's been very loyal to this organization, who has, put him up in trade rumors and on the trading block multiple times. And it's just nice to see Lopez be the franchise leader in points scored, and hopefully he can be a Nets for the rest of his career. But that does not mean in free agency I do not want to see the Nets pick up another center, as I do want them to see, as I do want to see the Nets pick up an athletic, rim-rattling center like, for example, Ed Davis. Even though Ed Davis is not a free agent, he will be next summer. So not this summer, but the upcoming summer. So hopefully the Nets can pick up someone like that. I also want to point out, Karis LeVert, he struggled a little bit today. He shot 4-12 from the field, but I do want to point out what kind of annoys me is that he doesn't really pass to LIN. I don't want to say he's icing LIN out, but it just seems like he always passes to someone else, or he always takes a contested shot sometimes, which he should be passing instead. But LeVert, he's just a developing player. He's a rookie, and overall he's looked great this season. But I would like to see him pass a little more to LIN, because it just seems like he didn't really pass to LIN at all in this game. I don't even really remember one time where he did. But yeah, I also was very proud of the Nets. They showed some grit. Down 26 at one point, fought back to cut it to almost a 2-possession game. They were down 7, but they just couldn't finish it off, and that's basically the story of the Nets season, including injuries. But that's a wrap. Thanks guys for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I will be putting out some great NBA, Brooklyn Nets, and Jeremy Lin content throughout the rest of the season. There's only 1 game left, and throughout the summer. I'm probably going to get into this more in probably an update video, or in the next video I will be putting up more just general NBA videos. So I'm still going to be making more Jeremy Lin videos for next season and Jeremy Lin news this summer, so be sure to stick around. But for the playoffs, I might be doing some prediction videos, some analysis videos for those as well, so just be on the lookout for that. And just remember, I'm still obviously going to be making Jeremy Lin videos. So I will see you guys for Wednesday's game against the Bulls. Hopefully Lin is all healthy and he'll play. So once again, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys all have a good one. Peace.